Chess fans, welcome to Tactics Explained. We will look at a few positions and you can guess the best move, and we will also talk about general principles that we can learn from these positions. In this position, white to move. If you want, pause your video and find the best move for white. Okay, black has a tactical liability here, which is this rook, which is not protected by any other piece, and white can move the bishop to d4 or move the bishop to d2 to attack both the queen and the rook at the same time. So for example, if we play bishop d2, if now queen takes queen, we can take rook with check, and after the king moves, win back the queen and win the game. And it looks like we can do the same after bishop to d4 as well, because also here if queen takes, we take with check, and after the king moves, we retake the queen and win. So what are the differences between those two moves? Well, let's have a look at other opportunities that the opponent has. If we play bishop to d2, we are attacking the queen, but what happens after rook takes? In this position, if now bishop takes queen, black has the resource knight takes bishop on c3, protecting the rook, and actually after rook takes, knight takes, queen check, winning this pawn, rook takes, turns out black can draw because this pawn is very strong. So, but on the other hand, does black also have this resource after the other move, bishop to d4? And let's have a look if now rook takes. Turns out now white has the additional resource, queen takes g7 mate. So while both of these moves, bishop to d4 and bishop to d2, seem to be doing the same thing, it's very important in a situation like this to always compare the two moves. And this is an important calculation technique that we can learn from this position, because bishop d2 does not work, while bishop d4 works. Okay, let's have a look at the next position. In this position, white to move. Pause your video and try to find the best move for white. Okay, white has a few forcing moves here, and after bishop takes, the queen has to retake, and after bishop takes check, the king has to retake, and after queen h5 check, king moves back, and knight to g5 threatens mate, and there's nothing that black can do against it. What if we change the move orders though? What if, for example, in this position here, we play bishop takes, king takes, and now knight to g5 check. If the king now moves back, we have a move order transposition and nothing changes. But it turns out in this position here, black has the additional resource of queen h6, preventing white from playing queen h5 check. So even though in this position here, knight to g5 seems like a good move, it's very important that we have to calculate all the move order transpositions and play the most forceful move first, as a general rule. So these are the two things we can learn from this position. Okay, let's have a look at the next position. In this position, white to move. Okay, white has a resource here, knight h5 check, and after g takes h, queen g5 check, king f7, if king h8, white can play queen d8 check and win back the piece. And after king f7, rook check, queen g8 check, king e7, queen f8 check. So what can we learn from this position? Well, first of all, we can learn this mating motive, if rook and queen coordinate and the white squares are blocked by black's pieces, often there's this mating motive where the queen is protected by the rook and giving mate like this, whereas the white squares, which cannot be attacked by the queen, are blocked by black squares. And the other learning that we can have from this position is that we should always, as candidate moves, we should always check all checks, because even though black can take the knight here, turns out there's nothing that black can do against mate now. Okay, let's have a look at the next position. In this position, black to move. If you want, pause your video. Okay, this is the position where there are many candidate moves. So black can give a check here, but after king takes, rook g8, king h1, there's not so much that black can do. Black could also give a check with the bishop, and after knight takes, it's not clear how black should continue. The queen is attacked, so we can also take out the queen, but after rook takes, also not clear what black can do in this position. And some crazy candidate move like knight takes here runs into simply bishop takes queen. So all of the white pieces are coordinating against all of the black pieces are coordinating against the white king. The rook is here, this rook is ready to swing in, this knight is close to the king, these two bishops are attacking, and this queen is attacking here. So there must be something going on here. All of black's pieces are at the maximum activity, and yes, the queen is attacked, but isn't there some tactical combination? Okay, the key learning from this position is that if you are in a situation that there are so many candidate moves and all the pieces are coordinating against the king, but none of the immediate candidate move works, try to identify the weakest spot in the opponent's camp. And it turns out the weakest spot is the pawn on g2, and so you might consider the candidate move rook 8 to g8 attacking this pawn. And the point is that after bishop takes, we have rook takes, king h1, knight check, and after bishop takes, rook h2 checkmate. And the point is that the knight here is pinned by the bishop. So this is how well the pieces are coordinating. And obviously after rook takes, we have rook g1 mate, and also here the knight is pinned and the bishop on b7 is participating in attack by pinning the knight. And if queen takes, that doesn't make too much of a difference. Rook g2 check, and now rook takes h2, and after knight takes, we have the double check by the knight and the bishop mate. Okay, and if white tries to block the attack by g3, we have knight takes, and after h takes, rook takes, and the point is that after f takes, the queen comes in with check, gives a check here, and mate. So, of course you have to calculate all of these variations, but the point is that if none of the immediate candidate moves work, even if your queen is attacked, consider finding out what is the weakest spot in the opponent's camp, and if the weakest spot is this pawn on g2, consider as a candidate move the not so obvious rook h8 to g8. Okay, let's have a look at the last position in this video. In this video, black to move. Pause your video and try to find out what's going on here. Okay, in this position, black has a forcing combination. Rook takes h2, king h2, queen g1, king h3, queen h1, check, all forcing, king g4, h5 check, king f5, queen h3. Now, at this point many of you guys might stop calculating the variations because it looks like the king has so many moves and it seems like the king is simply escaping. Maybe you're considering if the king if the king moves here, there must be some way for the king to escape, and also, the queen cannot really come in to attack the king from this side here. But it turns out that all of these moves, for example, king to e4, run into queen e6 checkmate. And if you want to check this, wherever the king goes, queen e6 is checkmate. So, in a case like this, just to finish up, white has this intermediate move here, and then really black has to choose where the king wants to be mated. So the point that we can learn from this video is that in long variations, if you reach a point like this, where you're not sure if the king escapes, is the variation over? Don't stop calculating, but look for a mating net. And it turns out that this bishop here does a very good job of taking away a lot of squares from the king. This pawn here does a good job as well, takes a lot of squares. And it turns out that these pieces here also block a lot of the squares of the king. And as we had seen in the earlier video, these pieces block the king away, and there is a mating net. So in long variations, before giving up, watch out for mating net. Okay guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe so YouTube sends you an update when new videos are available. See you next time. Thanks for watching.